Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And guys, woo! That's what I got for you today. Woo! The saga of my woes continues. I won't bore you with the details. Just things keep going not quite as correct as I want them to. And that's fine. That's the way life is. But today I hope to talk to you about some fun things. I hope to talk to you about some rage-inducing things. I hope to just generally have with you a very good time. That's the goal. That's the dream. That's what we're after. I picked Nick is late, I win. That's the safest bet on the planet. That is the safest bet on the planet. So you're gay and your hair is a lesbian? Weird. Yeah, we'll never bang. Me and my hair will never do it. That's life also. Anyway. So we've got some topics. Dang it. Dragon's Treasure sent me such a nice care package, and I was gonna bring it down with me again, and it's upstairs. But I had today the strawberry white tea, almost the strawberry white tea. It is so good. It is good. I didn't break your mug. God broke your mug. Oh my gosh. Go get it. Let's do it. I'll be back in just a second. I need to bring it. I'll bring it. Haircoon, you've had a month off. Do something impressive. Okay. Sorry, I am back. I regret my decisions and I apologize for whatever led to the thing that you're mad about. That's a joke. I know you guys aren't mad. Just disappointed. Okay, so I got all this stuff. The problem is Dragon's Treasure sent me so much nice stuff. And I'm going to go through it. You just saw the judge excerpt and you got to ask what is going on with the world? Good question, man. Good question. I'm trying to gather some information on Stand with Sophie. Stand with Sophie. And, you know, there's always more to every family law story. Whatever you want to take that as, there's always more to it. It doesn't mean that there's more contrary or anything like that. It just means that there's more. It could be more of the same, more horrific, rage-inducing horror for a 9-year-old girl, or it could be more of the opposite. Like we could be being led on a certain way. I'm trying to gather as much information about the situation and see if I can bring you guys as accurate of a story as possible. Working on lining up an interview with a surprising guest. No, it won't be surprising because you know who it is. It'd be surprising. You likely don't know who it is, but it'd be surprising. Just you'll see if it works out. I'll let you know. Oh my goodness. But yeah, looking for more information on that as much as possible, and then hopefully we'll be able to bring you the accurate news on it. Okay, let's talk tea. So Dragon's Treasure sent me a care package. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Here is the mug. This is a fine mug. It can be purchased, I believe, on dragonstreasure.com. I believe you can find this lovely, lovely mug here. It's fantastic. So there's that one. I said everything was breaking. Everything was breaking. If I would have opened that mug probably tomorrow or something, it would have been fine. But no, it was the male or whoever, probably a white male who broke it. So that was that. This is a teapot where you put the water in here, and down in the bottom you put loose leaf tea, and then it actually has a pressure plate, and when it sits on top of a cup, it dispenses the tea down into it, which is cool. I haven't tried it yet, but it also didn't have instructions. I had to decipher that from pictures on the box. But it looks pretty interesting. I think you can microwave it. I think that's what makes it awesome. I've got to play around with it. And then I got this Attack on Titan mug. You guys might have heard of Attack on Titan. It's a show that has gained some notoriety in some places. But yeah, so there's this Attack on Titan mug. I like it because the handle is way away. Like my knuckles don't get anywhere near the hot part. It's very cool. And then there's a bunch of tea, like, you know, tea. Lots of tea. We've got this strawberry white tea. That's what I had today. This is really good stuff. What else do we have here? We've got Iron Goddess of Mercy, which is an oolong tea, I suppose. Yukina's Healing Touch. You guys might know what some of these references are. I, of course, don't. Yukina's Healing Touch. We've got John's Trip to the Bahamas. I don't know what... again, if you know any of these... if you know any of these references, feel free to share them in the chat. We've got... Oh, you want ASMR voice? We've got Peppermint. Peppermint tea. It's not really much of an anime name, but it's just peppermint. We've got this peppermint tea. I love peppermint tea. I have to try that one. We've got Fangorn Forest. Fangorn Forest tea here. It's a Yunnan black tea. The black isn't capitalized though, which Dragon's Treasure, welcome to 2020. We are always capitalizing black and we are always lowercasing white. And I hope that you understand why you're wrong and work to change it. Also, you're fired. And then this one I'm really looking to try out. I haven't tried this one yet, but it's the next one on my list. This is Space Cowboy Gunpowder. And it's A handcrafted green tea rolled up into pellets resembling gunpowder. It's also one of the only references I get. It says the tea has a notable smokiness to its flavors. And I'll see if you guys can see. It's like large grains of tea leaves rolled up. So that is and it says "See You, Space Cowboy," of course, right on there. So very cool, very cool. Thank you so much to the Dragon's Treasure for this. You guys should definitely check them out at thedragonstreasure.com. Check them out. If you like tea, I'll tell you, and this isn't even an ad read, this is just me chatting. The difference between good loose leaf tea and tea that you get anywhere else. The difference between those two things is that with a good loose leaf tea, you don't really need sugar and cream. I mean, of course you can do that. You can do that to your tea, absolutely. But you don't need it. If you brew it following the instructions and it's a high quality tea, it's going to come out. It's going to be full flavored for the tea. Some tea is subtle, some tea is robust, but it's not going to have any of that bitterness. It's not going to have that acidity taste that you're usually, like with a black tea that you're drinking and you're dumping sugar in there and cream and stuff. What you're actually trying to counteract is the bitterness and the acrid taste that comes with processing and preservatives and all of the stuff that they do. Also, the lower quality tea that they're using to shove into the mass-produced little packets. They take leaves that aren't high quality, and they just chop them up and grind them up and dry them out or whatever, and then they put them in the little cheesecloth thing. You're never gonna see the tea leaf. You're never gonna see the grains of stuff that's in there, so you'll never know if it was a good or a bad thing. But I want to show you real quick the tea I had today, the strawberry white. Like, if you look at it, like, this is not little powders of tea. It's dried up plant leaves and flowers put in there, and that's why it tastes good. It's not just a manufactured powder. So I just wanted to go ahead and say that it's really good stuff. And it is, if you've never had like a good loose leaf tea, it is something different. So I encourage you to try it out. Plus, he had a great story about cancel culture coming for him and everything. And I assume it's a him. I think so. But yeah, you should. Anyway, yeah, go check it out. That's enough of that. I have re-added my less cool looking but better performing pop filter to hopefully calm down those percussive pops when I talk and use plosives. You don't want to use plosives, but I hope that will increase sound quality just a little bit. Always working to make things a little bit better. Because I love you and I respect you. No, I will not take a paternity test. Yeah, why is it blurry? I think I adjusted it too far. Let me fix that. So, Streamlabs is doing a new thing where now every time I launch Streamlabs, oh my God. There we go. I just fixed the focus and turned off autofocus, but it changed it again. I hate it. It does a new thing now where it starts and my camera is shut down. So everything is broken. But, can you please talk about Answer Us YouTube? I'll answer questions if you got it. I can, but not tonight because I haven't had time to research anything tonight related to it. I know it's about animal abuse and monetizing it. I see your chat. Someone else, might have been you, sent me a DM about it. I will look into it. I will look into it for sure. I'm not familiar with exactly what's going on, so I don't want to say I'm going to talk about it tonight because I'd be talking out of my anus even more than normal. Now, it's typical for a YouTube streamer to talk out of his ass, But yeah. What is that? Knight of Hopex sent a chat yesterday and I didn't see it. I'll read it real quick. It says, you might not be, but your chat and the right in general sure are. I'm glad you feel that way, but lately my team, I'm on the right myself, has decided to embrace the identity and justice values of the left, and this issue is a big part of that. I don't know what that was in reference to. It was several hours removed from the last justice chat, so I'm not sure, but I want to make sure and read that. Okay. So we've got a couple different things to talk about today. We've got the Trump tax return drama. That's ongoing. This story will not take that long. Just some interesting back and forths have been going on in regards to Trump's tax returns. We've got the Michael Flynn stuff going on as well. We'll be talking about that a little bit. Kenosha continues to be a point of contention. We'll be talking a little bit more about Jacob Blake and what I call the eye of scrutiny. And that is when the internet turns its it's like a Hamilton song. The internet turns its eyes on you or whatever. Jacob Blake, I don't know if you guys remember this, and this is what we're going to talk about as we go, but I've got a news story to go with it. Jacob Blake's family immediately came out and said Jacob would never want any of this, wouldn't want any rioting or anything like that. That's not what he wants to go on. And there's probably a reason. There's probably a reason that Jacob Blake doesn't want any of that, and that would be when the internet turns its eyes on you, things start to come out. And Jacob Blake's story of being a man shot in the back by police while walking humbly into an SUV, that crumbles really quickly with the video already, right? When you're like, well, because the audio clip of, well, Jacob Blake was shot in the back while going to his SUV. That audio clip, that's kind of jarring. It's like, why is a cop shooting a guy in the back when he's just trying to get into his car? But then, of course, you realize that's not the story. It wasn't just like walking into his car. He was in an altercation with the police. And then you start looking into it and you watch the video and you're like, well, I mean, he should have not gone into his car because the police were telling him to stop. And you can't just go into a car because there might be a gun in there. And the cops don't know. And if you're disobeying a lawful order and going into the car, they don't know why you would do that. Why would someone be belligerent and go into their car? That's what's running through the cop's mind. And then you get the other angle and you find out that they were just in a physical altercation as well. So there's even more reason that needs to not happen. And then when you start to really dig into it, we start to get into questions about, why was he there in the first place? Was he armed? Why are there kids in the car? Does he have a right to have those kids? Stuff like that. Those questions get real interesting. And if you want to talk about why Jacob Blake probably didn't want he doesn't want any of this. Well, there's a reason, I'm guessing. And that's because the scrutiny of the internet will fall on you. And that could go both ways. So anyway, we'll be talking about that a little bit. I also want to talk a brief bit tonight about a little bit of Vic news drama updates. Many of you know Vic was at UltraCon in Miami this weekend. I really, really wanted to go, but we had stuff here that we had to be back for. And I wasn't able to get back here and then back down to Miami. It just wasn't going to work. So, Vic was at UltraCon. I'm told that he did very well, that he was well received, that he had an engaged audience, that his line was a little bit shocking for the size of the convention, and all of that. I'm told that it was just an all-around good event for him. And of course, you know what happens when something good happens for Vic, right? You know what happens immediately is that the man is basically Stalin. He's not quite to Hitler, I don't think, but he's basically Stalin. And so no matter what he does, it is murdering people. That's what he does. So we've got the Re-Patrol on full blast. Jennifer Lynn Cunt is ass mad as ever that Vic would dare be out in public. Now, of course, there are other people at this convention. Damian Clark was there. Someone else was there. No one's mad at them. No one's mad at them for going to the convention. They're just mad at Vic. Because they're not mad at Vic for going to the convention. They're mad at Vic for not being dead. That's what they're mad at. They're not mad about the convention. They don't care about his Funko Pop. It's not about seeing fans. He's still breathing. And that is too much. That is too much for them to handle. So they have to attack everybody. And that's the trick. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. Of course, Vic did announce. He did announce a Funko figure pop thing. Funko Pop. I don't know. It's not. From what I understand, it's not actually a Funko Pop yet, because I don't think Funko Pop is making it. I think he's hoping to get Funko Pop to make it. That's what I got from his tweet. The impression that I get, like the Mighty Mighty Boss Stones. So he hasn't actually done it. He's just done all the groundwork to create a Funko Pop that they could just plug in and then produce. So Crimson J, Vic is Vic Mignogna. Sorry, voice actor, the voice of Broly, the voice of Edward Elric, the voice of Tamaki from Orin High School Host Club. Some of those might ring a bell to you. I don't know. If you're not a weeb, they might not. So anyway, he's basically created a Funko Pop that would be purchased in droves by people who like him. And now the question is, will Funko make it or not? And people are already freaking out. They are Karening up Funko Pop preemptively. It is like, it's like the U.S. It's like the U.S. just drone striking all of Iraq and saying, yeah, well, they might make another Saddam Hussein or whatever. Like, just, they are going to town, desperately trying to get Funko Pop to not engage with Vic. So I thought what we should do, and this will be up to you guys. I don't like asking people to do this, but I'm gonna tweet something. I should show it to you guys. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. If you're a weeb, it's really cool, I guess. If you're a Vic fan and a weeb, it's a super ninja mega cool. That's an official phrase, I think. But let me pull it up here. Oh my god. Here we go. Here we go. Ultra Mega was also a song by Powerman 5000. A band that I enjoy thoroughly. So here is Vic's post. Let's see. Here's Vic's post. As many have asked over the years if I would ever have a pop figure made of me. Well, no one wants one of me, but what about one that represents 10 different characters I've played over the years? Here's the prototype. It's all ready to go. So if you like it, please let Funko know. So here is the thing. If you're, it's like one of those find it puzzles or whatever. You can identify all the different outfits. You've got this. I think this is Tamaki from Orin. This side of the jacket. This side, of course, is Edward Elric or Edwin or whoever you want to call it. You've got Broly's little skirt kilt thing. I don't remember who the scythe is for. I don't know. There's shoes, the top hat. There's something. There's like 10 characters, something like that in there. I can identify 3 of them. So there you go. So this is the, you know, this is the prototype he's talking about. But Crow is the scythe. Okay. There you go. Sabo's hat from One Piece. Okay. Cool. So anyway, you guys know this, though. That's the important thing. The important thing is not whether I know it. The important thing is that you guys know it. So here's this is it. This is it. So what I'm going to do, I had already retweeted it. I'm going to probably unretweet this and quote tweet it. Twitter's weird like that. And I'm going to tag Funko Pop. And I'm hoping that if you guys like this and if you guys support Vic, you know, I'm hoping that you guys would let Funko Pop know that that's something that people want to see. So I don't care if you know, retweet mine or whatever. Where is Funko Pop? Does Funko Pop even have a Twitter? Is this it? I don't even know. Is this there? This can't be it. What is Funko Pop's Twitter? Seems like that'd be easy to find. Funko Home. There we go. They have a Twitter. Let's see. Funko. Oh, it's that one. It's just called Funko. Okay. Okay. At Original Funko. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'll do that real quick. Let's unretweet that. Oh no, I can just quote tweet it in addition. Hey, at Original Funko. Wait, how many? Damn it. Let's see. Yeah. I bet there are thousands of people who would love to purchase this figure. I know I would. And my wife is, well, do I want to say that? Wait, I know I would. My wife makes me buy all kinds of Funkos already. This one would look great with the rest. I guess I better capitalize Funkos. Let's see. Please consider it for the fans, baby. For the fans. So anyway, this is what I'm This is what I'm tweeting out. Hey, original Funko, I bet there are thousands of people who would love to purchase this figure. I know I would. My wife makes me buy all kinds of Funkos already. This one would look great with the rest. Please consider it for the fans. Bam. That's what we need. That's what we need. We need people to remember that they're a business. And we need them to remember that who pays for that business. Who pays for that business. And to Funko, guys, make business deals. Sell products people want to buy. And that's what service is. So that's all I got on that section. Hopefully, you know, it will be successful. I would love to see Vic have some good traction with it. But yeah. There you go. We'll see if they make it or not. Obviously, no idea what the timeline on anything like that would be. But if you guys would want to help Vic out by sharing that, you know, he asked to please let Funko know. So I figured I would, and you guys can do the same if you want. Because that's what freedom is. That's what freedom is, baby. All right, let's do these chats and then let's get into the topics for tonight. Get a blackface Rekieta Funko made. Oh, no. No. Michael Tynan says, hey, Nick, thanks for posting a clip of your epic rant against the judge in the Stand with Sophie case. Yeah, YouTube was not very fond of that one. It got demonetized, probably because of some things I said about the judge in it. It's a perfect example of why I love your content and also helped relieve some Firewalker post stress traumatic disorder because it's PSTD. Firewalker was so bad. God, I didn't remember how bad it was. But anyway, yeah, that Stand with Sophie case is soul crushing, heart wrenching, but we'll explore it as we go. Let's see. Vine the Cold One says, hey Nick, hope you are well. I managed to get busted out from the hospital today. I'm making a good recovery. Another drink for me. Getting to sleep in my own bed tonight. Oh, what? I thought you'd never ask. Oh, that's right. I have been without this bottle of Lagavulin 12 for so long. This is going to be great. If you guys are not familiar with Lagavulin 12, it is this. It is a pale whiskey. It is not like a dark, a deep caramel or amber color. It's like an apple juice. It's smoky. It's very smoky. Dragon's Treasure, we need to do a mixology with tea and whiskey. Find out what teas go with what whiskeys. That is a magical sip of whiskey every time. It is fire and smoke. It's not bitter. It burns. It doesn't, it's not like a nasty sour or bitter in your mouth. It's a burn and it's great. And it's very oily because it's got so much, it's got a lot of alcohol content in it. I think 57.8%. So it's almost 60% alcohol, and it hangs around. Oh, it's just magnificent. Anyway, so yes, I'm glad you're back in your own bed. Cheers to you, buddy. Bad Vibe says, protests are not peaceful by nature. It is disruptive to achieve awareness. Protests can be nonviolent. However, with outrage and anger, it's difficult to prevent violence. Yeah, it is. Violence is a product of protest. because you have people mad enough to leave their house to go do wine. Like, long story short, that's what it all is, right? It's just people are mad enough that they leave their house to go wine in public. And so if you're mad enough to do that already, I can think of so many things I would rather do than go out in the street and complain. Well, I just complain here. Or I just complain, if I didn't have a YouTube audience, for example, I'd just complain to my wife or my dad or a friend about something. I just, I bitch about it in a Facebook group. Anything other than leaving my own property to go whine about it in public. So it would take a monumental amount of emotion for me to do that already. And so then to charge that emotion and to carry that into a situation always brings the possibility of hostility. Okay. 2012 Jameson says, so today I found out a good friend of mine passed away. Cancer. Today. In her honor, I donated the Sophie GoFundMe. Turns out the mom's attorney is trying to pull a lemon and go after it. Money not subject to the court. Yes, that is the new revelation today. The mom has filed a motion. The mom and alleged supporter of kid diddling has filed a motion to take the GoFundMe money and use it for her fees for some unfucking knowable reason. That seems like a good idea. So, absolute trash heap move. But hopefully, hopefully the dad will resist it. Hey, if the dad's out there, I know a thing or two about setting up GoFundMes to go into a place that makes them hard for courts to get. So happy to consult on that, free of charge, pro bono, with nothing but support. And I have a fun video clip for us today. In a little bit. Bald Eagle, 1787. Bald Eagle 1787 says, Nick finally got a job after being unemployed for 3 months. I saw the judge excerpt. Furious right now. How much you want to bet the Vic case may have had an impact on her wanting to silence the dad and pull the GoFundMe? I doubt it. She hasn't, they ordered the GoFundMe posts taken down, but they're still up, which I commend the dad for. It's a huge, risky move, but fight is great. Cal Larkin says, my pupper was murdered by a pit bull the other day. Oh my God. I haven't slept. I'll make them suffer legally. That pit bull is mulch. God, that sucks, man. Sorry to hear that. For the outcast of the 30 and 40K. April 2020, Washington State Senate, with approval of state governor, pass a bill granting state funding for the community development on Capitol Hill and Pine. Just so happens the exact locations where the rioters set up Chaz Chop Zone. Oh. Well, there you go, I guess. Very interesting. Loric Project says, of course, Funko is a local company for me. If you want me to tell them in person, they're about an hour north of Seattle. I will not endorse an in-person anything of anybody ever. If you have some pre-existing communication with Funko, or if they have like a department where you can say something, that's up to you. I don't endorse that. Because that will be my endorsement of any of that activity will be taken way, way out of context. So, I very much appreciate the offer, but whatever you want to do will be on kind of your your own initiative. I can't say yes to anything like that, unfortunately. I would love to, but people will accuse me of harassment and all sorts of stuff. And I don't need that in my life. It's Dragon's Treasure, don't be broke. Don't be broke. Everybody's buying your tea. Anyway, so that's the chats we have for today. Speaking of judges, speaking of you know, child abusers, I found this video. This is from 2014. And if I can. This is what we call an extremely based video. And now, let me preface this, because just by playing this video, if people know where it's from, people are going to make something of it. The person in this video is a murderer. Let me be clear. This is intended solely for comedic purposes. This person got life in prison. And this is them right after receiving their life sentence and being hauled off to prison from the courtroom. This is, I just thought this was funny because I saw it. It's like 38 seconds. Oh, let's. Ah! That's not what I wanted. Okay, just, here we go. Oh, it's muted for you. 1 second. Fix that. All right. So this video is titled, South Carolina woman killing that pedophile was the best day of my life.
I think Jeremy and I would have done it again if given the opportunity.
Do you have any regrets?
I have no regrets. Killing that pedophile was the best day of my life.
What about not being able to see Jeremy?
Jeremy and I have a love that will withstand this.
What about what you said in court about repenting? Is that not true then?
No, it's not true. My lawyer made me say it.
Do you have anything to say to the victim's family?
May they die also.
Whoa! Oh my God! I mean, there are not too many send-offs that you get, like, right in your life. But the one where you're going to prison forever, you have one shot. You have one shot when you're going to prison forever to that's the send-off the person chose. Little bit out there, a little bit extreme, but YouTube actually recommended that video to me. I don't know why, but it was hilarious. Whew. The backstory, that woman and her husband, Jeremy, that she mentioned, are white supremacists, or were, whatever. Maybe they probably still are, I guess. They're just in prison white supremacists now. They're white supremacists. The person that they killed, though, was a white person. So it was not a hate crime against white people. It was a hate crime against pedophiles. The person, well, one of the persons that they killed was a sex offender, a registered sex offender, convicted of sex with a minor back in like 1993, I think, 91, 93. And then a reoffender convicted for criminal sexual misconduct with a 31-year-old woman later. They killed that guy, and they killed that guy's wife. And they said, well, the wife wasn't a registered sex offender. And they said she made her choice. She married a pedophile. So that was the justification for killing the wife that they gave. They got forever in prison. There is no possibility of parole or probation. Very, very kind of interesting story. But I saw the video clip. I thought I had to share it because it was like, oh my God. Woo! They're 6 years ahead of the curve on the sex offender question. They prefer maps, you bigot. What am I, a cartographer? Oh boy. I can't believe that. Oh. Wow. Oh, Loric Project sent, I think you misread my last chat. I wasn't asking your permission to go in person. I was trying to advise chat. May have worded it wrong, though. Oh, okay. Thanks for clarifying. I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. Oh, hey, guys. So, due to a mix-up, I have acquired a second copy of a Warhammer limited release book. You can't get it. I mean, you can get it on eBay, but you can't get it from Games Workshop. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. It is The Avenging Sun. It is beautiful. It is about Rowboat Girly Man, and it's in the Indomitus Crusade. If that means anything to you. So I don't know what to do with it. So I'm looking for ideas. I don't know if there's like a charitable auction or something. Burn it live on air? No, there's only like 2,500 of them in existence or something. So, I don't know what to do with it, but I'm thinking. The mix-up is great. I'll tell you the quick story. So, Games Workshop sucks on how they do their announcements now for books, and I never see them. I never see when the books are going to come out. So people destroy it. Your own copy will increase in value. Friends of mine will send me information when they come out, and then I will go to the website, and by the time I get there, it's always gone. They're always sold out. So then I have to go on eBay to buy them. So I go on eBay to buy this book. It is gorgeous. And and so I get all of them, right? They're all right here. Well, actually a bunch of them are upstairs still, but anyway, I get all of them. It's my obsession. So that's what I do. So I ordered this thing on eBay, and then a friend of mine reaches out and says, hey, I bet I could get one from my local shop. And he does. He gets one from his local shop for me, which was awesome. And I then tried to cancel eBay order. And I got absolutely lectured by this very, very important eBay salesman who went on. Now, mind you, this is a person who takes a pre-order slot. All right, this is the eBay person. They take in a pre-order slot for $65 and immediately, and they'll take more sometimes or less or whatever, and they will immediately go on and open up their eBay thing using stock footage of the book that they don't have because it hasn't even been mailed yet. They will use stock footage and say that they are selling you this book at a 300% markup. So, I told them what happened, that, I didn't actually need the book. It was an accidental order, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I got absolutely lectured on the morality of daring to ask for a refund. This is like 4 hours after the book was released. Not released. The pre-order was announced. So it would be no damage to this person to just go ahead and reopen their listing. So, they went on to lecture me about the audacity of me daring to ask for a refund and how they sold me a product. I'm like, you didn't sell me a product. Like, technically anything could happen to that book. You sold me a promise. a promise that you can't guarantee that you'll fulfill. I mean, you probably will. And then they went on to lecture me more. And I was like, why are you lecturing me? You could have just said no. Like, no, fuck you would have been as effective. But anyway, so it was great. It was fantastic to get just yelled at. So then I was like, okay, well, whatever. I don't care that much. I'll do something with it. So the seller or buyer always takes a hit. The seller wouldn't take a hit. There's nothing to hit. But yeah, so they were, you know, they also lied to me. That motherfucker. No, wait, I don't know if they lied to me or not. I haven't opened the outer package. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say they lied in case they watch. If you watch the show, hi, you were a dick in the things. I was very nice to you, but you were an absolute cockbag to me. Very rude. Very rude. But anyway. It's like, okay, whatever. I'll find something to do with it. So, I don't know. I might send it out or sell it with a charitable auction or something. What does eBay hit the seller for canceled orders? How much? I would have paid him $10 to not send it to me or whatever. But, it was fun. But anyway, so I'll, again, it's something I left upstairs, so I can't really, hit him with a 1-star Karen review. I was like, so much effort. I'll just talk about it and laugh. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. I paid triple the value of the book. So maybe I can do something fun for it. All right. There's a couple more chats and then we'll do this Trump stuff. Cal Larkin says, my dog's life mattered more than your life. Cloud9, you are worthless. MC Kant, fuck do you care for? And then a bunch of symbols, which I assume means profanity. So I don't know what that's about, but okay. Mike Mysterio. Hey, Rackets, just wanted to follow up on the message you had me resend on Twitter last night. Yes, I got it. And I will do it in just a minute. Also, I saw something about California decriminalizing of pedophilia. Is that legit? No, that's not legit. But changing the rules on who's a registered sex offender is. We'll maybe talk about that. I need to read more about it, more into the bill, and because it references other laws, and so I have to do that to really get into it. I like the Spike Man. It says, just spent a lovely week in central Minnesota near Walker and thought of you while passing Eagle Lake and Wilmer. Just caught up on videos, and the Sophie stuff breaks my heart. Oh, man. Too bad I wasn't around. If you're ever passing the Wilmer area, guys, send me an email or something. Usually happy to meet up with people and say hi, grab a beverage or a lunch or something. Okay. I'm glad you passed through. Hope you had a nice trip. Hopefully no tornadoes hit you. Let's talk about this Trump thing. And this will not be, like I said, some of these segments on the Trump taxes and the Flynn stuff, these are not going to be long stories. But they're important stories on subjects I've been talking about, so we got to cover them a little bit. Let's see what we got here. Oh, and someone asked if I could full screen the YouTube video. I can't full screen. It's how my screen is set up. This right here is on an ultra wide monitor, and it's just a section of it that's captured for the stream. If I can't full screen it, it wouldn't work that way. You'd only get a section of the video. I'm sure there's some way to do it, but I haven't done it. Or I don't know. Okay. Look at I love the pictures. CNN or Politico, whoever, they hate Trump so much. What did they do? They catch him farting while walking to the podium? Like, what is that face? Appeals court grants Trump delay in financial records case. So this is Trump versus Vance. Vance is the Manhattan district attorney who is allegedly investigating the potential of financial crimes, unspecified crimes, unspecified criminal acts. They got a grand jury to go after an investigation. It's a weird process that they're allowed to just fish for criminal acts without really much evidence of them. And so since they're fishing now for criminal acts, they have sent in a request for Trump's tax returns to go ahead and try and find if there is a criminal act in the tax return, along with some other financial documents. Now, if this sounds familiar, it's because this case has technically been going on since 2018. My audio levels are terrible tonight. Why is that? I probably screwed something up. Oh, you know what? I bet it's because I'm farther from the mic now because I've got this pop filter is farther away. Hopefully that'll be a little bit better. All right. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, this has been going on since 2018. They've been going after Trump's tax returns. They were not able to get them from the House of Representatives. Their investigative unit got shut down by the Supreme Court, but Trump had filed had appealed. Sorry, he had not appealed. He had filed a motion to suppress his tax returns, or to suppress the subpoena of his tax returns. And that went all the way up to the Supreme Court. Again, this request was made in 2018. And the Supreme Court said that he was not immune from being subpoenaed for his tax returns as part of a criminal investigation. But they did say that he could go ahead and raise any other objections to the tax return. So they kicked it back down to the lower courts, and they have now objected on overbreadth grounds to the subpoena itself. And then there was this weird thing that happened. There was a delay between when the subpoena would be executed, when it needed to be executed, and when the appeals court would hear, or when he would need to comply with the subpoena, whatever, and when the appeals court would hear the case. So there was, the district court said that he had to turn over the documents. Now, Trump has appealed that decision to the appeals court. And as part of that, there was a period of time, like I said, between when the subpoena would be executed and Trump would be required to comply and when the appeals court will hear the appeal. So they asked the appeals court to grant a delay in the execution of the subpoena so that they can wait for the appeals court to hear it. Because you can't unsend the documents, right? If he has to go through the burden of sending in all of these documents, he can't undo the amount of effort, time, money that would be required to do it. And those documents would then change hands, possibly in violation of his rights. And you can't put that cat back in the bag. So they have to, decide on whether or not he even has to comply with the subpoena first. So the appeals court did the right thing here. They have said, we're going to go ahead and allow the delay. We will have to hear the case, hear the appeal, Damn. We'll have to hear the appeal before the documents can be turned over. Now, what this ends up meaning is that Trump's documents will not be, will really probably not be available prior to the election. And that's the goal. That's the goal. That was always the goal of Trump's attorneys, preventing it from coming out before the election. And the goal of Vance, who is not acting as a prosecutor, he's acting as a political activist. And it's telling that he did this only after Congress basically got shut down. And he used the exact same language that Congress used in his request. He's a political operative here. He's using his power as a district attorney to be a political operative to get Trump's tax returns out into the public prior to the 2020 election. Now, you can certainly think that Trump should release his tax returns. I don't care if he releases his tax returns or not. I don't care if any president does. I don't care if every president does. You know what I don't do? I don't read their tax returns. Someone else will and complain about them. Doesn't matter what they do. They could be an angel. And their tax returns could show that they give all of their income to crippled children. Some would be like, well, what about blind children, though, you motherfucker? Because that's how politics is. Doesn't matter what the other person does. So I don't care about this. I just want to point that out. You can care about this. And you can say, well, hey, he should have to release his tax returns or whatever. Whatever your opinion is on the tax return question, a district attorney should not be acting out of political motivation to release tax returns to the public and using the criminal justice process to do so. That is an abuse of power. And that, it's weird to say it's tyranny against the president because he's the president and the head of the executive branch and all of that stuff. But it's an abuse. It's an abuse of political power. It's an exercise of political leverage, and it shouldn't be tolerated. But yeah, so that's this one. There's not really much to cover as far as the story goes. An appeals court panel agreed Tuesday to delay Manhattan prosecutors' efforts to obtain Trump's financial records, a decision that could likely punt resolution of the issue into early October and possibly past the November 3rd election. It almost definitely will. Because even if the appeals court goes against Trump in a very fast manner, he's going to appeal it to the Supreme Court. And there's a real legitimate question of overbreadth on this one. And so he'll appeal it to the Supreme Court, and that'll likely cause a delay. I think it'd be past their session anyway. So we'll see what happens. But it will probably go past the November 3rd election. Following a morning oral argument session, which means a whole lot different things if you're, anybody else or Bill Clinton, held by telephone, a 3-judge panel issued an order granting Trump lawyers' request to block Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance from accessing the disputed documents until the Second Circuit Court of Appeals resolves the issue. The court's 1-page order offered no rationale for the stay because it's obvious that to not offer the stay would be prejudicial and stupid. That's why there's no explanation. They don't need any. The stay makes all of the sense in the world. If there's an ongoing legal matter, and if they required Trump to hand over his documents to Vance, there would be no undoing it. There's no remedy the court could provide, and all of the damage that Trump is alleging in the appeal would have been done. It would, in effect, moot the appeal because it would require him to undertake something that he may not be obligated to undertake. They set a schedule for legal filings in the appeal over the next few weeks, followed by arguments September 25th. During the court session, Trump's personal attorney, William Consovoy, urged the judges to prevent Vance from immediately accessing the documents, which Vance has said he urgently needs to pursue potential criminal activity involving the Trump Organization. Again, what criminal activity? One of the three judges, John Walker Jr., sounded particularly receptive to arguments from Trump's lawyers that grand jury subpoenas Vance offices issued are too broad. John Walker Jr. is I think he's a George H.W. Bush appointee, and I believe he's a George Bush Jr. I think he's a young George cousin or something like that. It says it has the, oh wait, here it says, no, it's of H.W. Bush. It has the feeling of overbreath, said Walker, an appointee and first cousin of the late President George H.W. Bush. Although the Supreme Court issued a ruling in July unanimously rejecting Trump's claims of absolute immunity from such criminal investigations while in office, Walker stressed that the opinion still endorsed heightened respect that's due the president and called for necessarily meticulous review. Walker also questioned Vance's need to pursue information from abroad. Although Manhattan-based prosecutors have long prized their ability to use New York's role as a financial nerve center to assert jurisdiction over transactions that span the globe. And this is a good question, right? Because here, it just seems to me that it's really very broad. You're asking about activity in Europe and Dubai and so forth. You're a prosecutor in New York County specifically. What does Trump's dealings in Dubai have to do with New York criminal law? Is a good question. That's a good question. So, anyway, Vance's general counsel, Carrie Doon, said it's commonplace for DA's office to probe alleged wrongdoing in business dealings worldwide. There's nothing unusual about our office asking about entities out of state or foreign transactions. New York City is a center for worldwide commerce, Doon said. There's a lot of financial or international financial activity we have jurisdiction over. I mean, there's a lot that you've taken over, but should you? That's a different question, I think. That's a different question. So anyway, that's that. The real question will be what happens. What happens with the appeals court, and then what happens with the Supreme Court. But it's going to go past November, and then the prosecutor may not care so much. But I'm not going to read all this. This is a long article. Boring. Okay, so that's an update on the Trump thing. I've talked about it a couple times. I've done a couple videos that involved it. It's confirmation of what I said in the last video of what the plan is, and that's to push everything out. Delay. And if they delay it out past the election, then no one will probably care, because that's all they're after, is just getting fodder for the election. Because again, it's a political hit job, and that's what I hate. That's what I hate. Courts are not for political hit jobs. What else do I have? Jacob Blake. Was this the one? Oh no, this is the hold on. Where did I put that? I gotta find this stupid article. Woo! Where did that go? This is it. Oh no, this is a different story. Did you guys see that Joe Rogan, he moved to Spotify. He moved over to Spotify, huge contract, $100 million or something like that. And wait a minute. Oh, this is the right article. Anyway, so he moved over to Spotify, and then Spotify uploaded his archive onto their app, and just left out some of the episodes. His ones with Alex Jones, Joey Diaz. There's some other people. I recognize some of the names, but they just took those episodes off. Those don't exist. Those never happened. Joe never said those. So apparently, you know, they just took him off. They just took him off, which is crazy. This is the problem. Like, I love the streaming world. I really do. I love the idea that we can that there's just a library of stuff and that we click on it and we watch it or listen to it or read it and it's just there. But that's the terrifying thing. It's not here. It's always there. It's always there, never here, which means if it's not there, then it's gone. That's the problem with streaming services. That's the problem with this. Is if someone decides to unperson Alex Jones, then Alex Jones was never interviewed by Joe Rogan. Like, now everybody knows he was. What about 50 years from now? What about 100? About when they're looking back on the archives and they're like, who was the most stoned out podcaster interviewing people with the most vanilla interview style? And that is not an insult, by the way. The most whiteboardy of hosts. Oh, it's this guy named Joe Rogan. He interviewed everybody because Joe is like a wonderful, he's like the wall at a tennis practice court, right? That there's like a painted line and that's your net. And so you just keep hitting the ball against the wall. Joe is the tennis wall. He's not particularly interesting or exciting, but he's not, and he's great. He lets the guest shine through. And he gives his takes and they're fine. But that's what makes him a really good interviewer, is the guest is the focus. And so, you know, they'll go through and look and they'll be like, oh, look, everybody important ever was on this show. Except not these people, because that gets removed. And the farther away, the more attenuated it is from, you know, the actual thing. Archives go away. People's individual ownership of stuff goes away. It'll be like, there'll be digital excavations hundreds of years from now. It's like, wow. We found an old solid state drive. It's got a rattle in it, but we can make it work, right? That'll be the whole thing. And they'll be like, oh, the dead Joe Scrolls. We found an old interview. Now, we found several old Rogan interviews, but we found one that was Alex Jones, someone we've never heard of. This person was apparently kind of a big deal, but they've been erased from history. So, but now we know that the other Joe Rogan podcasts, we've had our transliterators look at them and see, and they're authentic copies of verified Joe Rogan archival documents. But now we can say with at least 60% accuracy that this was probably a real Joe Rogan podcast. And now we have a mystery. Who is Alex Jones? We'll have to go outside of the Rogan biblical texts. We'll have to get extra biblical to find out who this person was. We'll have to look to other aspects of culture. We had all of culture distilled down into one weird, bland American UFC announcer. And now we have to go outside of that. We have to go to secondary and third sources. And why would anybody have even archived any of those? We had the best interviewer ever right here in the Rogan Bible podcast experience. This is the plot of things like 1984. It's the plot of Rollerball in a way. I love the scene. James Caan, he wants to grab a book and he goes to the library. He goes to the library and there aren't any books there. And the lady's like, oh, wait a minute. No, sorry. All of the titles that you wanted, sir, are on the restricted list. So what we'll do is we'll have the computer prepare summaries of those restricted texts for you. And you can read the summaries. He's like, but I want to read just the books. Like, oh, we don't have any books here. they've all been processed by the computer. They're probably at the Central Archive. So he goes to Central Archive, and they don't have anything physical at all. It's all just on, the 1975 version of servers and storage space. And they screw one up and they lost the whole 13th century or whatever. But who cares about the 13th century? But this is the thing. This is the problem with the streaming services. This is the problem with Spotify. Is that when the streaming service determines something didn't happen, eventually it won't have. And eventually that will be the storage. Like at some point, internet speeds, broadband, probably wireless broadband, will be fast enough that you won't store things locally. Because why would we store things locally? We'll have these giant, 10 trillion exabyte data hubs that sit in some, server farm in Nevada or whatever, out in the desert. And all internet will actually just go to there, because why would you store a movie there when we could just store one copy of the movie on this main server and everybody can just access it? Because it's not like you need to replicate the data locally. You just need to send it. And if internet's fast enough and there's no load time or lag time, who cares? Yeah. And for now, like I see some people in the chat, and of course, I will store everything locally. Like I said, every show I record is locally stored. Or every show I do, they're all locally archived. I will do that, and you will do that. Will your kids do that? Will their kids do that? Eventually they won't. It'll go out of fashion. It'll go out of fashion. We won't need it. We won't need to have local storage. That'll just be silly. You'll just have a terminal, right? You'll just have a terminal with a lightning fast connection, wireless connection to a computer with a black hole processor. And the processing power of a theoretical black hole would be massive. It'd be so fast. It'd be great. So anyway, yeah, so that's that. I don't know. I could talk about my doomsaying on that. I'd much rather have like Null on to talk about it. He's smarter than me on, especially on those issues. But it's a weird place, and to see services doing that to like Joe Rogan. Well, they're not doing it to Joe, right? That's the thing. It doesn't matter to Joe. It might matter to him on the surface, but his $100 million isn't contingent on his Alex Jones episode. $100 million is just contingent on him dancing for the camera going forward. But if they pulled the Alex Jones archive, can he interview Alex Jones now? That's a real good question, right? Can he interview Joey Diaz now? Anyway. Okay, anyway. Sidgar1 says, please invite Uncivil Law onto your show sometime. Nick, he discusses cases of civil rights violations and opposes qualified immunity, which can shield government actors from consequence. I think you'd have a lot in common. Yeah, he was in the chat the other day, and I mentioned that I will be inviting him on. I've got an email thread with him, and I will definitely do that. Oh, I have to announce something. I was wrong. Yesterday, I thought I was going to do my family Labor Day stuff on Friday, but it turns out I'm going on Thursday, which means there will not be a show Thursday night. I might be able, I don't know if I'll be able to broadcast live from where we'll be. The internet out there has traditionally been terrible, so I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know the practical nature of it. I will try and pre-record something, but just so you know, there will not be a show on Thursday or Friday, which is frustrating. I misunderstood the dates and the times, so Thursday and Friday there will not be a show. That means that tomorrow I'm having that umbrella guy on to discuss some things. So I can't have anybody on this week other than Tug, who will be on tomorrow. But we've got uncivil law on the slate. At some point, I'm going to have Mark Randazza on. And I'm going to have Perseus back on as well at some point. So that's what's going on there. I just needed to clarify that while I'm thinking about it. Also, Live Chat Wednesday will happen tomorrow, but it will happen later than normal because I keep finding out the things I volunteered for. So, and in fairness, I knew I was signed up for this thing prior to yesterday, but I had forgotten that it would impact Live Chat Wednesday. But Live Chat Wednesday will occur. It will just be a little bit later in the day. Something like 4 p.m. instead of 2 p.m. Felipe Move says, "Hey Nick, how are you? What is your favorite 18-year-old whiskey? What characteristics do you appreciate the most?" My favorite 18-year-old whiskey specifically? I had a 19-year Jura. That's really, really good. I don't know if I have an 18. I've had a Bowmore 18. It was great. Dick Masterson sent that to me a long time ago. I typically drink a Lagavulin 16. I don't know. I mean, I guess the Bowmore 18, because I think that's the only specific 18-year whiskey I can think of. But it wasn't my favorite whiskey in general. It was just a good one. What characteristics do I appreciate the most? I like smokiness. Smoky and peaty whiskeys are my favorite. So there you go. There you go. Okay, let's do this. Talk some Kenosha shit. By the way, if you have not, look at that face. Terrible. If you are not aware, it appears that Kyle, hashtag justice for Kyle, has been, there's some interesting developments for him. I might have mentioned them yesterday, but allegedly the gun that he was using did not come from Chicago, so it did not cross state lines. It was a gun in Wisconsin that he was in possession of. Get the impression that maybe it's not his gun. I don't know. Which is fine. Kyle raised over $600,000. Great. That's fantastic. So if the gun did not travel across state lines, that was a weird one anyway. That was people hinging on the idea that he would have been in violation of possession of the gun in Illinois. And I guess there might be some federal offense for bringing a gun across state lines with intent to commit a crime. That'd be a little premature since they have to prove the intent to commit a crime anyway. But that would likely be, they're looking to head off any of those charges. No federal charges have been filed as far as I'm aware on this case. But if he didn't bring the gun, it gets rid of it. Of course, now I think it's come out that two of the heroes, traveled, two of the three heroes traveled farther to Kenosha, Wisconsin than than Kyle did. Because, that's the big narrative. It's like, well, he went there looking for a fight. Well, I mean, really not that far away. It's kind of in his community, but whatever. None of this shit matters. Self-defense is self-defense. And the elements of this look like self-defense. Frankly, I want to comment on something, though, just briefly. Dick Masterson has been talking a little bit about this. And in a lot of ways, I agree. I agree with what Dick is saying, but I think his message is getting lost a little bit in the hyperbole. Or not even the hyperbole, maybe just the volume. It doesn't really matter. While I think that Kyle acted in what appears to be textbook self-defense, and he seems to have fully complied with Wisconsin laws, there are people out there calling him a hero and all of this stuff, and I hesitate on anything like that because your goal as a carrier of a firearm should be to not be in a situation where you might have to use a firearm. That's just a best practice. It doesn't mean he's bad or anything like that. And you guys know my views on protesting. I have the same views on counter-protesting. I don't think people should be out in the streets doing this. And I would rather not see a 17-year-old's life be impacted by, or anybody's life be impacted by violence, by having to commit violence to save yourself. That doesn't mean he should have been attacked or anything like that. But I think we need to be careful. Dick put it a very interesting way. He put it a very interesting way. This is all ads. And it is. It's all political ads. It's all ads for whatever cause is going on. And both sides are using it as an ad, right? Like Jacob Blake is an ad for Black Lives Matter, even though he didn't die. And even though Jacob Blake looks to be entirely in the wrong in his situation, he's still an ad for Black Lives Matter. Shit, Minneapolis had 3 days of riots over a guy who ate his own bullet. He shot himself. So again, it's an ad, though. It's not even about the truth anymore. We have to be very careful that we're not just feeding into the ad, because Kyle's being fed into the ad of self-defense, the ad of going out and protecting and stuff like that. But, he got lucky in his situation. He came out of that lucky because he could have been a puddle on the ground bleeding out like one of the other three. Very easily that could have happened to him. So it's not about whether or not his actions appear to be completely justified. And I'm fully glad that he walked away from that situation. I originally thought he should be charged. Then I read the document that they used to charge him. And, I thought there's no way he should have been charged based on what they wrote down. So, I kind of changed my mind on that, but entirely because of how the prosecutor wrote the document. I don't think he should have been charged, but I don't think he should be treated as a hero. I don't think people should go out and do this. I think you've got more to live for. I think you've got more to live for than shooting 3 weirdos. And he's not out of the woods. I think he should win. I think the facts are on his side. That doesn't mean much of anything in a criminal case at the end of the day. What matters is, did you win? And we won't know that for a long time. And his life is going to be shit until he resolves that. So I just want to point that out. That's my opinion on it. And I'm pretty sure that's where people like Dick are coming from as well. It's just, I don't know that we need to add heroism into this stuff. I'm not saying he's a bad kid or made bad choices. I just wish the choices wouldn't have to be made, or he didn't feel like he needed to. And why does he feel like he needs to make these choices? And if he were my kid, I would prefer him not to have been at that car dealership. And I bet his parents probably preferred the same. So there you go. So if some weirdos came to burn down Q's house, you just let it happen and wouldn't try to protect it. It's a little different. It's a little bit different because one, you know, I know Q personally. Two, I don't know what would happen. But is Q inside it? I don't know. It's a tough question. It's a tough question, but it's also not a question I have to ask. Coward. Go ahead. I don't, you know, I think about my kids, man. I think about my kids. And here's the real question. I don't know that that any of my friends would ask me to risk my life to protect their property. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. If they asked me to, would I do it? Probably. Yeah. But I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want that. And that's a little bit different. Now, if they asked me to come protect their business, that's further attenuated, right? Like, that's a little bit different as well. And then if it's someone else's business, just some random person's business, that's even a different question. If it's just go protect the streets of Kenosha, Wisconsin, that's even a different question. We all have ideas about exactly why he was there, but only he knows why he was there. And so it's just, it's just a caution. It's just a caution. It's real easy to get wrapped up in this idea that we should be out with guns and fighting and all this stuff. And I mean, there are causes worth fighting for, but it's really easy to get wrapped up in, it's just, in a way, it's comparable to like going out and rioting over this Jacob Blake shit. Like some asshole got shot, trying to evade police, probably kidnapping some kids. Or we're rioting over that? We're rioting over it. Why? Why? Why is that? So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just giving you my perspective on it. I think we need to be real careful on the whole heroification and idolization, whatever it is, of feeding people into the meme war. Because life is valuable. It really is. And anything went wrong in that situation and that 17-year-old kid dies. Now, that 17-year-old kid's entire life might be over because of that night. And it's real easy to overlook that and say, well, he did the right thing. Well, maybe. Maybe he did. Once he's there and the people are confronting him, yeah, he did the right thing. Absolutely. But if he didn't have to be there, that's the good question. Who knows? So there we go. I like the Spike Man says Rosenbaum was a child herder. The other two were abusers. I'm happy 3, and I guess 2 are off the street. Yeah, and no better targets on earth, right? Just absolute scumbags, and they appear to have gotten exactly what they deserved. Kyle works there. I didn't think he worked there. I thought he was volunteering cleaning up graffiti. There's a lot of information that's still kind of murky on this. I can't wait to see the actual documents. He works in that city. Yeah, okay. He works in that city. Great. Like when I worked in Wilmer, if Wilmer was on fire, you'd be hard pressed to see me out in the streets defending the integrity of Wilmer. That's a weird thing. Oh, he's a lifeguard in the city. Good. Again, I'm not disputing that he had a right to be there or anything like that. Of course he had a right to be there. You have a right to be damn near anywhere on the planet. It's not about rights. It's about what you're going to step into danger for. And again, what you're telling the next person they should step into danger for as well. And, you know, it's case by case. But like I said, we'll see. I can't wait to see the actual filings. I love getting the stories from the internet, but it'll be interesting to see what his attorneys put out. Has the fourth guy that kicked Kyle and Kyle shot at and missed been identified? I haven't seen that, but it's possible. So I'm saying you have a right to be in Area 51. Yes. Eagle alone took a kid to do what most men are too scared to do. No, it didn't. There were a bunch of people there with guns, right? For whatever reason, they attacked Kyle. Like, again, this is the stuff we've got to be careful about, or we're gonna have people just blasting all over the streets. It's crazy. You're talking like this will just blow over and we will not have to risk even more tomorrow. What do you have to risk? This is the weird thing. Again, and it's so politically charged. You can't even talk about this stuff. You can't even talk about it. Because if you say, you know what, I really wish a 17-year-old wasn't out defending a car lot with a gun and potentially having his entire life ruined because of the circumstance he was in. People are like, oh, no, how dare you say that? It's like, what do you mean? I wouldn't want any of you to have to do with that either. It's just like, what a sad state of affairs that we're in. And yeah, I've got that Portland video. We're going to watch that one, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know. And again, when I worked in Minneapolis, if they had decided to light Minneapolis on fire, you know what I wouldn't have done? I wouldn't have gone to defend Minneapolis. Now, if you came to my house, that's a different story. But, all right. Anyway, but I'm talking about Jacob Blake. Kyle's just an ancillary story to that right now. We talked a lot about Kyle yesterday. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more about Kyle as things kind of heat up in that case. So what we covered here, unrest has continued in Kenosha after the August 23rd police shooting of Jacob Blake. 29-year-old black father. I love how they frame this stuff. President Trump visited Kenosha today, but did not meet with Blake's family during the trip because, according to the president, they wanted to involve lawyers. Yeah, I'm sure they did. Trump announced millions in funding towards law enforcement and small businesses in Kenosha in the state of Wisconsin. He did not address systemic racism during his trip. Why would he? Systematic racism did not shoot Jacob Blake. Cops shot Jacob Blake for entering a car after a lawful order not to. A car that they couldn't see in and weren't aware if he had a weapon inside or not. And I believe he was in the process of taking 3 children that he didn't have a right to at that time. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden spoke about violence in the U.S. during a speech yesterday and argued that Trump can't stop the violence because for years he has fomented it. Yes. If there's nothing else in the world that Trump has fomented, it's definitely he has fomented Black Lives Matter. Trump is out there every day talking so much and riling people so much about police violence against black people. That's all Trump has done for the past 4 years. is talked about police violence against black people and fomented this Black Lives Matter and the violence that's going on. Did you guys see that Joe Biden at first was kind of supporting the riots and the protests, and then when the new polling numbers came out and Trump took a huge jump in job approval rating amongst everybody, including big gains in blacks and Latinos and even in Democrats, that Joe Biden suddenly came out and condemned the violence that he hadn't done before? Biden was buying into this lefty bullshit that the protests are all fine and dandy until they saw just how bad. Or how most America views the actual violence going on. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it except the weirdos in the streets. Our live coverage has ended, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Here we go. Blake family attorney on Trump trip. This is Blake's family attorney. Bivory Lamar. Bivory? That's an interesting name. Oh my God. Bivory Lamar says Jacob Blake should have been the primary purpose and the primary focus. Why? Why should that have been the primary purpose and focus of Trump's visit? Answer that question. I think the bigger story is the destruction and the divide in America that's going on. Following President Trump's trip to Kenosha, Jacob Blake's family attorney, Bivory Lamar, told CNN's Jim Acosta that the family has reiterated several times that they did not want Jacob's tragedy to become a political issue. No, but this is... Wait a minute. They didn't want it to become a political issue. But the family attorney says that Jacob Blake should have been the primary purpose and focus of the president's trip. We don't want it to be that's the most political issue you can make. Costa asked Lamar, what is your response to how the president conducted himself today? Family has reiterated on several times they didn't want this tragedy to become a political issue. We didn't want this to be, to gain political points, Lamar said. And I think that it begs the question, the motivations that's not begging the question, and of Donald Trump coming in for this visit. I think that the conversation needs to be had. I think that there needs to be a dialogue among these issues, and this has been going on for far too long. We didn't want this to be a political issue or to gain political points. I think there needs to be a dialogue among these issues from the President of the United States, and this is going on for far too long. Lamar noted that Blake should have been the focus of Trump's trip today. Quote, I think that Jacob Blake should have been the primary purpose and primary focus. That is what is causing this country to be in uproar. No, it isn't. It isn't. That's what's causing an excuse for Antifa and Black Lives Matter to burn down a city. That's not the country being in an uproar. That's several hundred LARPers playing in the streets with fire. There's a big, big disconnect there. Not only in the city of Kenosha and in the state of Wisconsin, but all across this country, he added. I mean, this is a local issue. Started as a local issue, but now it is a national issue. It's only a national issue because people burned down a city. So if we're really about looking for meaningful change, then we would expect that not only the local leaders look to find solutions in that capacity, but also the national leaders and a president to be the head on making sure that we effectuate that type of change. Notice he's such a fucking attorney. He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything here at all. Other than, this shouldn't have been political, but we wanted it to be the primary the primary focus of the largest politician in the country. Trump claimed he was not meeting with Blake's family during his Wisconsin visit because they wanted to involve lawyers. Pastors of Blake's mother, Julia Jackson, took part in one of his events. Trump didn't address systemic racism. The president was asked by a reporter whether he thinks systemic racism is a problem in the U.S., given that there's also peaceful protests around the country calling for an end to it. The president responded, well, you just keep getting back to the opposite subject. We should talk about the kind of violence we've seen in Portland here and other places. Fact is that we've seen tremendous violence, and we will put it out very, very quickly if given the chance. Trump also largely sided with the message he's held on to since demonstrations spread across the country this summer. I mean, he did address systemic racism. He said that's not the problem. He ignored it as a problem. He doesn't give it credence. Largely sided with the message he's held on to since demonstrations spread, arguing that police violence is not a systemic issue, and say that the people of Kenosha want law and order and want the police to be police. So here's something I saw, and I had a thought about this. I saw a thing about Trump being a law and order president, and I think they were lamenting Trump's support of Kyle and other law and order people supporting Kyle, right? And he's a murderer is the rallying cry of why you shouldn't support Kyle and all that stuff. That's against the law. It's against the law to murder and carry guns or whatever. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, people forget that law and order is two parts. There's two parts to law and order. There's law, and then there's order. And they are both an integral part of that equation. You have law, right? Like, we want law enforcement to enforce laws. We want people to abide by laws, but we also want order. We want an ordered society. We want orderly activity. We don't want riots in the streets. Protests, not riots. Protests are lawful activities, but they're disorderly. They're not orderly at all. That's the whole point of them. They're there to be disruptive. So I think people forget that law and order candidates, law and order supporters, people who run on a platform of law and order, it is and order. And that's why they can consistently, intellectually, honestly support someone like Kyle, who was, again, for better or worse, promoting orderly conduct. And that can't be overlooked. And that can't be understated. Kyle's carrying of a firearm in a public place, in compliance with Wisconsin law, as far as I can tell, was promoting order. It's the threat. Not the threat. Threat is a legal word. It's the implication of the possibility of an end to violence. That's what a gun is. That's what open carry supporters actually advocate for, where they say that concealed carry isn't as effective. Now, there's arguments about this, and I don't have an investment in either side. But a concealed carry says, if I don't know who has a gun, then everyone has a gun. Right? And an open carry person says, being reminded that people have guns is a way to keep everybody honest as well. So there's different ways to look at it. Kyle and the other guys there who have rifles openly displayed, not being wielded or brandished at anybody as far as I've seen. It's the promise of talk shit, get hit with a bullet, you fucking idiot. That's the promise. That's there. And it's this idea that, look, we can all be friends because I can protect myself from you. That's order. That's order. If you come set fire to a building, we will open fire on you, is order. Because that just says, as long as you don't set fire to the building, as long as you act orderly, we're good here. And I just want to point out that law and order people can support conduct that it can look bad, right? Like Kyle's conduct to some people clearly looks like a bad thing. They can still consistently support that because order is part of it. And we always leave that out. But law doesn't handle most of our problems. Orderly society is not, has little to do with legal action. Mostly it's just people acting decent, right? Like there's nothing stopping you from doing all sorts of disorderly things. I guess the threat of a misdemeanor disorderly conduct charge is there, but that's not even that big of a deal. For the most part, it's just that doing disorderly things bothers people. Anyway. Okay, next thing. Trump's visit to the swing state marked another attempt to continue his campaign of linking Democrat-run cities and states to violence ahead of the November election in an attempt to paint himself as voters' candidate for law and order. Yeah. I mean, he is. And there is a link. There's a very strong link between Democrat-run cities and violence. People have been talking about it forever. One of the, an interesting guy who discussed it, I believe, does John Lott discuss that? Can't remember if he does. John Lott's an interesting guy in general. His visit included surveying areas of the city damaged by demonstrations. Damaged by demonstrations! That's not a demonstration! It's a demonstration of how to riot, I guess. Touring an emergency operations center in a high school and then holding a public safety roundtable. During the roundtable, he spoke at length about law enforcement and damage to small businesses, announcing that his administration would be providing millions of dollars in funding towards law enforcement, public safety resources, and small businesses in Kenosha and the state of Wisconsin. Pence says, we grieve an incident like Blake's. We really do, but I want to let the investigation play out. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people, I don't know. I've watched the video on Blake. I think people's problems with it is that he was shot 7 times. And it's like, well, so what, should they have shot him once? I mean, would that have been better? Twice? 3 times? Like, what limit? When does it become ridiculous? And they always do this, right? Well, they shot him X amount of times. And it always should be X minus 1, I guess, would have made the difference. Like, well, if they only shot him 6 times, that would have been reasonable. But 7, that's crazy. It doesn't. The shoot is either justified or it isn't. There was a famous case where the amount of shots mattered. Amalu Diallo, right? Like, he got shot something like 41 times or whatever. He was unarmed. It was back in the late 90s, I want to say. And, that was an interesting case because one of the cops would have had to reload. At least one of them would have had to reload to get that many rounds into him. So that's a different story, right? 7 rounds? But they just use the hyperbole of the big number to suggest, what they really want to say is, we didn't want him shot at all. He was shot because he was black. It doesn't matter that they shot him 7 times, but they're trying to rope in people who otherwise would have been okay with it. That's the goal of that. Kenosha County Supervisor Andy Berg says there's a lot of talk and little action in response to President Trump's visit to Kenosha, Wisconsin. What actions are that we're doing? What are the actions that we're doing? Well, he said he was going to send a bunch of money. That's the actions. Berg was with the family of Jacob Blake, members of the Kenosha community, as Trump toured businesses damaged during protests. Trump did not meet with the Blake family lawyers. There wasn't a whole lot of discussion that I heard of the president's visit. Berg said of his time with the Blake family. It was about breaking bread together and listening to music together and dancing and having conversation. Well, Blake wasn't dancing. And having conversations and making conversation on how we're going to make change in the future instead of talking about change. What change are we going to actually bring to action? Fuck you. No, it wasn't. Like, what? What is the Jacob Blake family going to do to make change in the future? You got shot. That's it. What the fuck are you going to do? What are you going to do? What, they're going to go around like David Hogg, jerking off and touring all over the country, talking to a bunch of people who are like, yeah, violence. And what's going to happen with that? Nothing. You're not going to do anything. You're just some random people with a random deviant who decided to like fucking assault someone with a knife and he ended up getting shot. What are you going to do to change the violence? I know. How about you have your son Jacob obey restraining orders? Try that one. That's a great start. That's a great start. We were breaking bread, dancing, having conversations about how to make change. What a boring dinner that must have been. What a boring dinner. The last thing I want is some pretentious asshole at my dinner talking about making change. Trump pledged millions of dollars. I'm not going to say no to any funding that's going to come into Kenosha. Anything that's going to build up our city is absolutely acceptable. You'll take the Trump bucks, but you'll criticize him for not doing anything. Oh, you're a real fucking gem. President has yet to denounce the actions of a supporter who is facing homicide charges for allegedly killing 2 protesters. Listen to how they word this. Trump has not denounced the actions. Why? Why would he? He doesn't. Kid's innocent until proven guilty. That's another thing. Where'd the presumption of innocence even go? It's dead. It's dead. The presumption of innocence has been killed harder than a pedophile in Kenosha. Did we all forget? I mean, I know many people did. Kyle is innocent until they prove him guilty. There's an investigation that needs to go on still, Berg said, and to support the vigilantism. It's beyond me as to why somebody in a position of leadership like that would support anything like that. Law and order. It's order. Vigilantism? First of all, it's not vigilantism. It's not vigilantism. At least not in the way most people understand it. But it's order. It's making a polite society. That's a nice car dealership. Be a shame if anything happened to it. Well, if anything does, I have buckets of water and a big fucking rifle. Well, there you go. We'll be moving along is what should have happened. Go burn down the next car dealership. Or whatever. Berg also told CNN he thinks there's potential that the president could potentially be encouraging vigilantes. We had a few folks in our community pushing for folks to come armed. And that's just on a small level. Talking about the president doing that? Absolutely. I think there's some potential there. That's a weird set of quotes. Who is this guy? Oh, that's the Kenosha County Supervisor, Andy Berg. Great. It's not about unifying that community, NAACP president says. Look at the people they're interviewing. Derek Johnson, the president and CEO of the NAACP, says he thinks President Trump's visit to Kenosha, Wisconsin today was not about unifying that community. It was to accelerate a campaign platform to try and get reelected. Yes, of course it was. Yeah, Trump did a political thing to be political. Welcome to it. And that's unfortunate because we have lost lives in that community. They weren't lost. We know where they went. We have 3 individuals who've lost their lives senselessly. And we've got to address that. Who's the third? Who lost their life in Kenosha other than the 2 scrubs that got shot? Does anybody know who the third body is? Johnson was responding to comments made earlier by Trump when he was asked during a roundtable during his Kenosha visit if he believed there's a problem with U.S. with systemic racism. Trump also answered for a pair of black pastors in the room when they were asked if they think police violence is a systemic issue. Oh no! Trump white president splained black pastors apparently. Blake's not dead. Blake's alive. He's still alive. I was going to say he's alive and kicking, but he's not because he doesn't have, his legs don't work anymore. So, I don't know who the third person is. You do have the other situation too, where they're under tremendous pressure and they don't handle it well. They call it choking, and it happens. What the fuck is this? Wait, what? What a weird. So these 2 lines from Trump are presented out of context. It's really awkward. So police violence is a systemic issue. I don't believe that. I think the police do an incredible job, and I think you do have some bad apples, Trump said. You do have the other situation, too, where they're under tremendous pressure and they don't handle it well. They call it choking, and it happens. Okay, I guess he means that cops sometimes screw up. Like, they're not just bad. Sometimes a good cop screws up. They call it choking, and it happens. What a weird line. You do have the other situation, too. They're under tremendous pressure, really fantastic pressure. They don't handle it well. They call it choking. It happens. Johnson pushed back on the president's comments, saying the black community is hurting because of aggressive policing. For him, it's always about him. I mean, that wasn't about him. And if he sees support coming from a police union, a fraternal order of police, he's going to cater to their messaging. This has nothing to do with the hurt this country is currently facing. He cannot address those things head on. He's only caring about re-election. We need leadership in this moment. You do realize it is an election year. And not only is it an election year, we're in the month before the most important month. We're in the second most important month of the election year. That's September. You do understand that, right? Like, so if Joe Biden comes out and talks about, like, systemic racism, he's only doing it to get elected too. Because it's an election year 2 months before the election. Everything they say is calculated and focus grouped. And I mean, obviously a live off the cuff statement isn't, but the ideas about what those live off the cuff statements are going to be about is focused down. Of course it is. Because if they say one wrong thing now, they could blow an entire presidential election. That's all it would take. That's all it would take. Like if Joe Biden had an Alzheimer's session, just started talking, like if he called Jacob Blake that N-word corn pop, he's like, that N-word corn pop was trying to get in the car, those good old boys put him down. Like Joe Biden would be done tomorrow if he said that. It'd be over. There would be no recovery. So everything they say is calculated. Everything they say is calculated. It might be a bad calculation, but it's all in service of getting elected, especially now. Here we go. Same story again. State investigators have worked more than 600 hours on the shooting of Jacob Blake. 600 hours. Let's see. DCI, along with FBI agents, have conducted 88 witness interviews and collected more than 100 pieces of evidence. Additionally, state agents say they have downloaded 28 videos for review. At least 4 search warrants have been issued as part of the investigation as well. Okay. Use of body cameras is very tough, despite our bar and other police officials supporting them. I don't know what's tough about it, honestly. I don't really care. Trump says he feels terribly for anyone who goes through that in response to a question about Jacob Blake. When asked what his message was for the family of Jacob Blake. Oh, that's way different, though. That's about the family. I feel terribly for anybody that goes through that. That's why we're so honored to meet the pastors. I feel terribly for anybody that goes through that. As you know, it's under investigation. It's a big thing happening right now, he continued. I guess it's under a local investigation. I know, Bill, you're also participating. He said to William Barr. Hope they come up with the right answer. I love this. It's like he's saying nothing, and it's fantastic here. It's kind of funny. It's a complicated subject, to be honest with you, but I feel terribly for anybody who has to go through. And I didn't get to speak to the mother. I hear she's a fine woman. I hear from the pastor, a really fine woman. But you can see when I spoke to the pastors, I see exactly what it is, and they understand where I am. Oh my God. Oh, this is the best. It wasn't until more than 30 minutes into the event, that someone in the room mentioned Blake by name. When a pastor said he continued to pray for Jacob's healing, the president never acknowledged that comment. The only condemnation Trump made was to condemn the dangerous anti-police rhetoric, despite the fact that an armed supporter of the president, reportedly acting as a vigilante, allegedly killed 2 people on the streets of Kenosha during the protest. There's no allegedly. He killed the shit out of them. He did do that. So anyway, this is just CNN, Jacob Blake stories. They're all the same, right? It's the same shit. They publish the same thing over and over and over again. Because that's how they do it. Okay. I like the Spike Man says, all I'm seeing from commies is he went there to hunt people of color. He knocked 3 felons. 3 white ones, though. That's it. You know, I think we need to talk about this. Kyle Rittenhouse is the worst white supremacist I've ever seen. He didn't shoot the black guy, and he shot 3 white guys. A terribly inefficient racist. Like, he clearly needs to be sent to racist re-education camp. Let's see. Bad Vibes says, everything is political. Unfortunately, you have people on all sides telling you sit down and shut up and threatening your ability to debate. We need the conversation. The powers that be rule through ignorance and division. Yeah, I agree. That division thing is really, really important. No-Go says, did he wing that black guy in the leg? I don't think so. If he did, the guy didn't, there's no reporting on it. But as far as I've seen, he didn't actually tag him. What else do I have? I have a couple of things. Let's do this real quick. This happened in Portland. By the way, Kyle. Seen Kyle? Kyle was, again, whatever your opinion on the propriety of him being there, not the right, just the propriety of it. That doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, he was there, and this event happened, right? And again, once he's there, I think he acted entirely justifiably. And I don't think, to be clear, I don't think the circumstances about him getting there negate his actions in any way or are ill, I don't think there's ill intent or that they're ill-conceived or anything. I just wish he didn't do it because I don't want this on him. But so I want to be clear, like, just because I don't want him to have been there doesn't mean that I think that it in any way changes the calculus on his actions. Okay. In my opinion, entirely justified, acting fully within his rights. Absolutely. And he should be fully, in my opinion, he should beat the charges. No problem. And I think he should be publicly exonerated for the charges as well and from all the shit. And I hope that Linwood goes after anybody who called him a murderer. And I hope that Linwood opens up with the Linwood dildo fist of doom on that ass. All right. Now we're going to talk about a different thing that the same people who are, talking about Kyle aren't, they don't want to talk about this one. They don't want to talk about this one at all. Video is going to be loud. This is two videos. Here we go. And then there's a transcript down below. So, no audio. Oh, motherfucker. I muted it. We'll do it again. Okay. It's fixed now. We'll do it again. Not loud when you don't share the audio. I know. One day I'll be better at this. That's a lie. I wonder if I can I? It doesn't get any... This is annoying. Can't get any bigger, but here we go. The left side has the most action going on. The right side's all...
Hey, we got a couple right here. Hold it out. Right here. You okay?
Okay. So there we go. The transcript is move. Hey, enemy clubs over here. We got a couple right here. Him, pull it out right here. The hissing sound is a can of mace, I believe. 2 gunshots. Female voices knocked him off. 4th is go. So that's this is the first death squad in American history. I don't think that's actually true. I think there's other death squads that are out there, but that have occurred. It's the first time a death squad has been filmed carrying out a murder. That might be true. So anyway, they got a whole bunch of analysis about this. I'm not really interested in that. The video, I think, speaks for itself here. And I wonder if maybe I can, if I massively increase this window size. Oh my gosh. I'll see if I can get just the left one in the frame here. Here we go. This is a little bit better. Watch it one more time.
Hey, we got a couple right here. Hold it out. Right here.
So that's that. This happened up in Portland. Not really. God damn it. Not really too much to say about it. But for all the bullshit about Kyle, vigilanteism, whatever you want to call it, here you have people actually just murdering someone based on political affiliation. Yeah, the guy was allegedly a member of Patriot Prayer or affiliated with Patriot Prayer in some way, which is a counter Antifa group. I'm going to go back to a tweet I made yesterday. There's a civil Cold War, and it's warming up. This stuff, this violence, and this is one of the reasons I caution the hero bit, right? Like, this is my real concern. My real concern is that we are pushing towards a hot civil war. And I don't think anybody is prepared for what that looks like. I really don't. It's a terrifying prospect. It's a terrifying prospect, especially now. Like, think about it. A civil war in a major city now, or a civil war in the country now. Back in 1865 or whatever, a civil war looked like a bunch of people from Massachusetts all going down to fight in South Carolina or whatever, marching on Virginia. Okay, that's civil war in the late 1860s or in the early 1860s. Civil war today, they never leave Massachusetts because they wouldn't need to march. There'd be just an online coordination of ideology and resources, and then you go outside and you eat a bullet. If you have a Trump sign in your lawn, you get shot. If you have a Biden sign on your boat, it gets burned. That's what civil war looks like today. There isn't a respite. There isn't a safe place. There isn't a Mason-Dixon line. There is no, oh, I'm north of the line and the soldiers are off fighting. I'm here at home. There isn't that. It's in every city. It's in every community. And if it ignites, if it really turns into a legit fight, we have to preserve our ideology with violence. If that happens, there is no escape from it. Oh, are we back now? I think we're back now. Motherfucking thing. Well. That was great. I don't know. That was a stream hiccup on apparently on my side because I lost all internet for a minute. Who knows? I am so fucking tired of this stuff. I don't know. I wish if there was something I could do to make that never happen again, I would pay so much money. I would pay, 5 times what I pay now for internet to make that never happen. I don't know who I don't know what hand jobs I have to give. I don't know what it is to make that just not happen ever. Anyway, what I was saying is I don't think anybody's ready for what a modern civil war looks like, and that the only countries that might have any sort of recent memory of it are probably African countries that have had long histories of civil war. But it's not even the same there. It's not even the same there. It's not, because people end up congregating. They wouldn't have to anymore. They don't. It'd be weird. It'd be local. I see a bunch of these places. I don't think it'd be the same as in the US. And it's been brewing for a really long time. I think it'd get really nasty. Michigan is ready for it and we will not show any quarter. Yeah. Well, there's a different half of Michigan than you live in, buddy. Oh, thank God. AOL discs? That would be great. I'll have to make a new email address every time. But, no, I don't think it'd be even urban versus rural. I really don't think so. Will you still grift during the Civil War? Yeah, I'll sell war bonds that go to me. All right. I think, that's most of what I've got for the day. I've got a bunch of chats to read through, of course, that we will wrap up with, and then we will go over to Twitch. This is a weird one. Alien Xenomorph says, Micah Curtis says you joined the alt-right. What does that even mean? Is he making fun of my hair or something? I don't, is there an alt-right to join? Is that a thing? I don't think I'm a very good alt-right person. But, so I'm curious of the context of that. Very, very weird. I've never really considered myself part of the alt-right. But okay. Well, yeah, I'm going to read these chats, guys. Oh, wait, I need to do one thing real quick. I definitely need to do one thing. Where is it? Where is it? Let's see, I gotta give a... Sorry, trying to do this on the fly here. Damn. I gotta give a shout out. This is a request from Michael. Michael. This is a shout out to Hannah Tsukino. Hannah Tsukino. So, let's see. Oh, just a second. Anyway, this is to Hannah Tsukino. Michael has asked me to give you a little shout out, say hi, offer you some encouragement, and just say to hang in there. And things are going to be good. There are people out there who care about you, and I don't know. He wanted me to give you a shout out and just say hi and offer you some encouragement. So, if you ever want some of that personal encouragement or whatever, DM me. I'd be happy to chat with you. And I hear you're a fan of the show, and I very much appreciate that. So, there you go. There you go. All right. Oh, yes. I should do that too real quick. see. Guys, I wanted to let you know that the Bidening has happened to me. I don't know if you are aware of this. It was caught on camera. But in true grifter fashion, I sniffed back because am I going to sit here? Am I going to sit here and be out-sniffed? Have you seen this nose? It cannot be out-sniffed by some amateur chump named Biden. So here you go. This is the Bidening. Biden getting Bidened back for Bidening me. So there you go. That is courtesy of Pixlexia. I will not stand to be out-sniffed, and I will be the one doing the sniffing. So he can't teleport behind me. You can't teleport behind me. Don't even try, you piece of shit. Old ass, slow teleporting piece of garbage. Okay, that's what we've got. We've got we're gonna go ahead and do, like I said, the whatchamacallit. We're gonna go ahead and do the super chats now, and then we'll wrap up the show. Come join me tonight on twitch.tv/Rekieta Law. If you want to do a watch party, we'll be watching Frailty. Frailty is a fantastic thriller. And then after that, we'll be watching something goofy like Death Sport or Screwballs or something. Should be a fun time. So, is he your dad? You have the same nose. No, my dad is my dad. My dad does have the same nose. As did my grandpa and I assume his father before him. But yeah, we will start as soon as this show's over. We're going to start Frailty over on Twitch. Okay. Let's see. We've got Bad Dragonite says, my friend I play Halo with pointed out that while Kyle didn't get the triple kill, he did technically get a running riot. Silky Johnson says, hi, Nick. Glad you, Lady Raggets, and the Mini Raggets made it home safely from your trip. I hope you enjoyed time with your family. I did. I was watching a YouTube news video, and the person said that Rittenhouse went to Kenosha to kill. Is that actionable in court? If they could prove that he went to Kenosha to kill, it would potentially overcome any self-defense objection. The problem is there's no indication that he went to Kenosha to kill. There's no indication of that at all. Mercenary X says, I warned everyone to reconcile with whomever they could, but no one listens to me, and this culture war is starting to become hot. It's going to be kill or be killed very soon. QAnon warned about this possibility 2 years ago. Pray, everybody. We're in real trouble. Mercenary X also says, also, could you please explain to me why you thought that night that Kyle's first-degree murder charge was good for him? I think I need context because I took serious offense on that. No, I didn't say it was good for him. I'll answer fully when I finish reading your chat. I didn't say it was good for him, though. Did you mean as a means of beating the charges? Seriously need context. No, the first night. Okay, I think, let me explain a couple things. When I first saw the story, and I imagined what the DA would write on the charging document, I thought that it was reasonable to charge him with the murders. Because I thought that the DA would see dead guy, and bicep boy, and that the DA would maybe talk to some witnesses, or that the police would have talked to some of the witnesses who were friendly with dead guy, and bicep boy, including bicep boy himself. That I thought that that's who would be the witnesses, and that evidence would make a probable cause charge. And so I thought that would be reasonable. Now, the next night, when the actual charging document came out, when the charging document came out and I read it, and I read that the narrative that they have is entirely one of self-defense and him complying with Wisconsin laws about his duty to retreat. Like, everything I read says that he was defending himself and acting justifiably. So then I thought, okay, well, I have to retract saying that I thought the charges were reasonable, because what they wrote was not probable cause to charge a crime. It was actually a defense of the crime. The entire thing is an homage to his own defensive action. So I thought that was different than what I expected. So then I thought the charges are unreasonable because of what they wrote. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to. If I said good for him on the first-degree murder, if I said that, it's because they way overcharged him. Like, the first-degree murder charge is ridiculous. The good thing for him about that, if I ended up saying it, what I meant would be something along the lines of, it's good because he'll probably beat those charges because they're so out of proportion with what happened. Like, the idea that the skateboard guy is hitting him, is in the process of hitting him, and he shoots. Even if you're saying that that's a murder charge, first degree, that he was intending to kill the skateboarder prior to, like, being hit and being involved in that altercation is unrealistic. So I hope that answers your questions about the whole situation. I don't know specifically which part you're referring to, but that's my thoughts on those main issues. Someone also said that the went to Kenosha to kill is defamatory, or whether it's an opinion. I think they were saying it as a matter of fact, and that would be a fact that could be proven. Like, did he go to Kenosha to kill someone? That's a fact. Was he intending? And by the way, like, I was talking about it in the criminal context, but if this is a civil court case about defamation, here's how you determine if something is a fact or an opinion. Would the outcome of that question matter in a criminal trial? And in a criminal trial, if they can provide enough evidence to convince a jury beyond any reasonable doubt that his intent of going to Kenosha was to kill, and therefore it invalidates his self-defense action, then certainly that is a question of fact. And there are all sorts of ways to prove out the fact of intent. Intent is a fact question in criminal cases. It is similarly a fact question in civil cases. So yeah, and I think, like I said, I think that's what Lynn Wood is salivating over, is the possibility of suing some people. And probably why, he's willing to help out with the criminal case, because that will open the door to big money defamation cases. What are the chances they overcharged to get this kid locked up for his safety and case tossed on purpose? Illinois refused to extradite to Wisconsin. You don't ever lock someone up for their safety, I don't think. He would be less safe in lockup than he would be just being anonymous. I mean, it's always possible because some people are dumb, but I think it's bad. Mercenary X says, I have to say, this is getting scary. Civil war may become worse than we can imagine. All these riots and the execution of people in the street with different political views reminds me of 1940s Kristallnacht, just as left-wing as Hitler and his lot. God help. Kermit the Frog says, HBO, the greatest network of our time, has brought you compelling documentaries about pimps, hoes, players, johns, tricks, marks, mark-ass tricks, trick-ass marks, skeezers, skanks, skig skags, and scallywags, and now we go into the world of the haters. Okay. Silky Johnson says, apologies. I meant, could that news channel be sued for defamation or something else for implying that Kyle Rittenhouse went to Kenosha with the sole purpose to kill peaceful protesters only and nothing else? Yeah. Absolutely, they could be sued for it. Whether or not you win is always the question. All right. Agrilith says, can you have a drink for Medicare dead naming his cancer, AIDS, and needing a biopsy? Serious enough now that he stated it. Wish Lucky Charms a speedy recovery. Yes. High West Whiskey. And we'll do like a little half shot. I don't know if that's a half shot. It's something. To Patio Furniture. May your recovery be swift and merciful. Get better, buddy. Ugh. Okay. Woo. Good stuff. All right. Let's see. Twilight Dragon 3 says, better to be late and gay than being Ron Toye. It's better to be dead. WZRBS says, hey, Rackets, keep an eye on Kiwi Farms. Looks like Russell is gearing up to fail sue Romney, Barr, and or Null. God, I hope. I don't want Null to get sued, but oh, man. Oh, man. No one important says, hope you got my DM of the Toonami Black Lives Matter commercial. I did. I haven't watched it, though. I haven't watched it. It's everybody. Dragon's Treasure says, fine, here's your fucking money. Guys, check out dragonstreasure.com. Get some tea. Get some anime. Weeaboo tea is the best. Gawker's Death Rattle says, most people make tea by pouring boiling water on it. That can scorch the tea and make it acrid. Let it cool or add a cup of cool water to 4 cups hot. Yeah, this tea actually gives you very specific instructions. Like this one. It's 1 teaspoon per 8 ounces. Boil for 5 minutes. So you boil it for 5 minutes. This one, however, 1 teaspoon per 8 ounces, 180 degrees, 3 to 5 minutes. Notice that's not boiling. That's 32 degrees lower than boiling. And so what you do is you get like a Keurig or something, and there are actual teapots that'll get water to a specific temperature and hold it there. You do it all sorts of different ways. What I do is I set my Keurig to about 185, and then I fill the cup, and then I put the tea in, and then I put a plate over the top of the cup and let the tea steep for 3 to 5 minutes and then pull it off. So there's all sorts of ways to do it. Can you go over the nuance of a criminal complaint instead of an indictment? It's going to be state by state, and, they're really pretty much interchangeable. But it's just the state's process for doing it. There's not going to be a lot of difference there. Indictments tend to come from grand juries. They don't have to, but yeah. Do I get hangovers? Very rarely. Very rarely do I get hangovers. Okay. Bad Dragonite says, can you wake me up when September ends? Wake me up when September ends. Mario Carter 13. Nick talks about tea more than some beauty channels. Drexel Lord of Simpson Cuck says, get a blackface Rekieta Funko made. I'd buy that. For the outcast of the 30/40K, thoughts on Marvel and GW comic team up pros and cons, and in your opinion, which Alpha Legion Primarch did Dorn kill? Who would win, Big E or Sigmar? Big E would trounce Sigmar. Sigmar's funny and memey, but Big E is too powerful. So in reverse order, Big E wins. Which Alpha Legion Primarch did Dorn kill? I'm going to say Alfarius. I don't say it was Omicron. Because I don't think Dorn knew he existed, and I think Dorn would actually have noticed a difference. Because he's Dorn, he's boring like that. Okay, and then I think the pros of the Marvel and GW comic team up is it's a GW comic that is more common than what we have now. I have McCraggie's Honor and I have Demonifuge, which are both really cool, and I like them. I think Abnett is writing the GW comic. I really want a nice edition of the Titanicus comic that he did a while back. But, you know, the pros of it is comics a good format for 40K, as long as they focus on the hyperviolence and make it fun. The cons are comics don't really... It's a weird thing to say. I don't think they capture the powers of a Space Marine very well. Space Marines move in a way that makes people stand and gasp in awe. It's transhuman dread. They don't know what to do because they're so big, but they move so fast. And you can't do that in a comic book, which I know sounds weird because they have things like Flash or whatever, but it's different. You can't just put a blur behind a Space Marine. That looks stupid. Luminaire says, you're welcome for Firewalker. Forest Warrior when? Never. How dare you? Christian Hernandez says, hey, Nick, love your streams. Will you talk about the new bill passed in California to protect pedos? What are your thoughts? Yes, I will talk about it, but not tonight. I need to do a little bit more digging on it. Matthew Skidmore says, Jim has actual cancer. No foolin'. Press F, dude. NNRU. Country Thanos says, I haven't kept up on it lately, but totally random. How's Vic's case going lately? It's in appeals, and the appeals court will hear the case on September. Well, they will hear it by reading the documents on September 22nd and take it under advisement. There will be no oral argument, and they will rule sometime from September 23rd on. It's impossible to say how fast they will. It's impossible to say how fast they will rule on it, but okay. Rick Moranis says, saw your Sophie video. Powerful stuff. How can a judge gag anyone about anything with freedom of speech? It's really rare. It's really rare, and it's subject to strict scrutiny. So in this case, the argument would be that the state has an interest in protecting the child, and that this is the least restrictive means to protect the child. That would be the strict scrutiny argument for why the judge could gag information about it. And judges do that, but it has to be narrow. It has to be narrowly tailored to people that are actually under the jurisdiction of the judge, and it has to be narrowly tailored to specific talk. I think the judge's order was overbroad. Anything about the health of the child, that's overbroad. Can't do that. So he can't post that that his daughter went to the dentist and had nice teeth. That's about her health, or that she doesn't have COVID, for example. Like, that's ridiculous. So anyway, that's yeah, that's that. I don't know. That's how they do it, though. Infearder says, welcome to Paralegal. He didn't say that. I say that. Welcome to Paralegal Status. Welcome to channel membership. Kalinka Pavlova says, people go buy books. Don't wait for everything to be digitized. Also learn to sew and make jam. I'm serious. Mario Carter 13 says, visit Blacked for quality black hole processing. Stop. Nexi says, I have a recording of the heartbeat of my son who never was. Cloud can store my Johnson pics, but I'll never trust someone else's computer with this. Yeah, man. Ulash1 says, would you view him as a hero if you knew one of the people he shot was a wanted kitty diddler? No, I think that was great that he shot a pedo. I think that was great. Two of the people, actually all three of the people he shot were felons. Play stupid games. The Atomisk says, hero no, but Kyle is legendary. Number one should be, no one should be there. See, I think that's the way to look at it, in all honesty. I really do think that's the way. And what he did was remarkable. Because it could have gone bad for him. And that's the scary thing. Like, anything went different that night. And we're not talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, the commie killer. We're talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, the corpse. Country Thanos says, I haven't kept on it lately, but totally random. How's Vic's case going lately? Oh, hi. I answered that one already. You sent 2. Thank you. Thank you. CJ says, some people say Brussels sprouts taste good. Blake. I like a well-cooked Brussels sprout. And Alien Xenomorph says, Micah Curtis says you joined the alt-right. I don't know. Is there like a booth or something that the alt-right has to join it? I don't know what that means. Dead Snake. I thought the bicep guy only had misdemeanors. I thought I saw a felony charge on there, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, does anybody know the Micah Curtis story? And then I thought I saw another one come in after that. Let me see. It might have just gotten messed up when the stream reset, so. Oh, it did. It got completely screwed up. Here we go. There's some more here. Bad Vibes says, Nick, I think someone doesn't appreciate your perspective. I'm noticing that it buffers on the more controversial issues. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Moist John says 90s Russia / Chechnya. That's what it would look like. Except with cell phones and internet and video. Imagine like a civil war now is video of the war. That's crazy. Chase Weiler says Civil War would look like a bunch of Facebook events saying, hey, everyone on my side, meet up here so we can attack the guys that are meeting up there. That'd be pretty good. Ricky Bobby says, search YouTube, Biden gaffe Pittsburgh. It's only 20 seconds. Oh, damn it. Biden gaffe Pittsburgh. Biden's Pittsburgh remarks. This was posted 1 day ago. Corn Pop was a bad dude. No, here we go. Let's see. I gotta make sure I got the volume on. Okay, I do. Here we go.
COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it, more lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years.
What?
COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it.
Just think about it.
More lives this year than any other year. For the past 100 years.
For the past 100 years, COVID's taken more lives this year than any of the others. When you only got 100 years to live. Or whatever. Jesus Christ. This is the guy. Does Joe Biden know that he'll die the moment he takes the oath of office? Does he know that Kamala Harris will just kill him? Like, he has to know, right? Like, they're like, we'll just tell him because he's got Alzheimer's and he won't remember anyway. He has to have been told at least like 10 times. Can you imagine the hitmen? The Kamala Harris hitmen coming to kill Joe Biden after he's inaugurated. He'll be like, I was president one time. Yeah, sir. What's your name again, boys? I'm Riggs and this is Murtaugh. And we're here to kill you. Oh, that's nice. I was president one time. What's your name again, boys? Oh, I'm Riggs and this is Murtaugh. Like I said, we're actually here to kill you, sir, because it's no No disrespect meant, but you're really far gone. We need Kamala Harris. Oh, that's nice. I was president once. What's your name again, boys? Like, that's what that would go with. That's what that would go with. That's what that would look like. It'd be so... Oh, are you here to bring me my pudding? No, I told you. Oh, God. I got a shotgun. I fire it in the air every time someone threatens my wife who died from cancer. Whatever she died from. Anyway. That's Joe Biden. That's how that conversation would go. Christian last name says, just want to say I enjoy the show. Hey, thank you, Christian last name. Colosine says, as Walter White, I am the one that sniffs. Luminous Path 13 says, Nick came back with 2 new lines on his face. What the hell happened in Florida? 2 new lines? Where are they? I don't know what that means. I got older? Probably. I got sunburned. Daniel Camargo says, you aware of Durham criminal investigation? Thoughts? Nope. I have no idea what that is. Bad Vibe says, Nick, I fill the cup Jay and Silent Bob style. Sure. Gawker's Death Rattle says, nah, like 2 girls, 1 cup style. Damn it. Mario Carter 13 says, COVID killed more people this year than any other. It did. It killed way more people this year than it has any other year. For the past 100 years. Mercenary X says, thank you for clearing that up. So I'm guessing they can't downgrade the charges from Murder 1. They can't. I mean, I assume in Wisconsin, like in Minnesota, Murder 2 or Murder 3 are lesser included offenses to Murder 1, and they can argue for them. But there's something about juries when you overcharge someone, obviously, that they'll just eventually say, no, fuck you. We're not going to go for the lower charge either. So it's a risky proposition. Charging Murder 1 with intent to kill, are they trying to throw the case out, or are they just being bloodthirsty for Kyle? Bloodthirsty for Kyle, the case will get thrown out, and then, they'll say, well, we tried. Video proves everything. I think so, yeah. And Christian last name says, haha, you read my message. I'm a current law student. Drunk too. Well, I'm glad you are. I'm sorry that you're a current law student. Yes, I read every message unless I make a mistake and missed one. So, all right, guys. Thanks for hanging out tonight. That's the show. I'm going to play the outro and then come on over to twitch.tv/Rekieta Law. Again, we're going to watch, what did I say? And now I feel like Joe Biden. I don't even fucking remember. Frailty. We're going to watch Frailty, and then we're going to follow it up with a movie like Screwballs or Death Sport. Should be great. We're going to watch an early 2000s movie followed by an 80s schlocky movie. Be great. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. And again, if you're in the Discord, Live Chat Wednesday will be tomorrow, but it will be a little bit later than normal. Have a good night, guys. Peace. Peace. God damn it. CJ says, thoughts on the Wu Flu 6% actual death rate? I think it's great. I think it's great. Christian last name says, any advice you can give? Dude, you're already drunk. There's no more advice you need for law school. Have a good night, guys. Peace. Peace.
Become redder, he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, This lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an art bag, a bow, more a love rug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea, post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Dante to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea, post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are